All right, let's dive right in. We're going to build a playbook for all you brilliant starters out there who are ready to become absolutely unstoppable finishers. We're talking about taming that beast known as shiny object syndrome. So let me ask you something. Does your desktop, or maybe your workshop, look kind of like a graveyard for genius ideas? You know, that place where incredible projects went to die, like halfway through? If you're nodding your head right now, trust me, you are in exactly the right place.
Here's the thing. This pattern often isn't a character flaw. It's actually a specific kind of wiring. It's super common in what the DISC model calls a high D/I personality. Now, this is a really powerful blend of dominance. That's your inner drive to get results, and influence, which is all your creative, persuasive energy. So stop thinking of yourself as scattered. You're more like an achiever or a producer whose engine just needs the right operating manual.
So, if that high D/I profile is sounding a little too familiar, let's go deeper. You see, to solve this problem, we first have to understand the wiring that creates this constant battle between starting and finishing. It's time to decode that amazing D/I brain of yours. Okay, so let's break this down. You've got two core drivers that are almost always on. Your dominant side, it's all about winning, getting results, and it wants them like yesterday. Then you've got your influence side, which is fueled by social approval and creative ideas. It's spontaneous, it loves telling a good story. See, the thing is, both sides move incredibly fast, but they're chasing slightly different finish lines. And right there, that's the double-edged sword. This exact combination makes you an unbelievable innovator, a visionary who can start literally anything. But that same restless, fast-paced energy is precisely what leads to scattered focus. The very superpower that makes you a great starter is the kryptonite that makes finishing so darn hard. And this brings us to the killer of so many great projects, the messy middle. This is that exact moment when it all falls apart. It's when the initial rush of creativity is gone and the work just becomes, well, work. It's methodical, it's a grind. And for a high DI brain, that is a recipe for boredom, which triggers an almost magnetic pull toward the next exciting idea, the next shiny object. Okay, so we've diagnosed the problem. Now let's build the solution. We're moving from just understanding your brain to actually giving it a strategy. And it all starts with a triage system, so you can finally choose what's actually worth finishing.
And this, right here, is the big mindset shift. Your problem isn't a lack of discipline or a broken calendar. The real problem is a lack of a filtering system. So the goal isn't to cram more into your day. It's to protect your focus by making smarter choices before you even start.
So here's your first tool, and it's a game changer, the idea doc. Think of it like a holding area for all your new, brilliant ideas. Instead of acting on every single one the moment it pops into your head, you make it wait. It's a mandatory cooling off period. Now, this isn't where ideas go to die. It's a vetting station, where that initial buzz can wear off, and you can decide if an idea is truly strategic or just, shiny. But what about all those half-finished projects we talked about? That graveyard? For that, we need a cleanup crew. It's called the Moscow method. It's a pretty ruthless but effective framework to help you audit everything you've started and decide what, if anything, is actually worth bringing back to life. What I love about this is how it forces you to be decisive. You sort everything into 4 buckets. Must have. These are the absolute non-negotiable wins. Should have. Yeah, they're important, but they can wait. Could have. These are the nice to haves, the first things you drop when you're busy. And maybe most importantly, won't have. This is where you set clear boundaries to stop yourself from adding more shiny features later on. And here is a super critical rule to make this whole system work. Your must-have projects should only take up about 60% of your total capacity. Now, this isn't you being lazy, it's you being strategic. This builds a 40% buffer directly into your life to account for your DI nature. It gives you room for those inevitable new ideas and creative pivots without completely derailing your most important goals. All right, you've filtered your ideas, you've prioritized your projects. So now for the big question. How do you actually survive the messy middle without getting bored and jumping ship? Well, this is your tactical playbook for winning that fight. Tactic number 1 is a total game changer. You have to redefine the finish line. We do this with the minimum viable product, or MVP. This is the absolute simplest, most bare-bones version of your project that still provides real value. For a DI brain, this is a beautiful psychological hack. It creates a much, much closer finish line, which satisfies your deep need for a quick win. And here's the simple way to do it.
First, get crystal clear on the one core problem you're solving. Second, strip away every single bell and whistle that isn't essential. Third, use your natural D drive for speed to build that simple version fast. And finally, use your I drive social network to get immediate feedback and validation. Next up, you've got to manage your energy with the Eisenhower matrix. See, high D/I types get trapped by what's urgent, the stuff in quadrant 1. But the real, deep work, the work that actually finishes big projects, that lives in quadrant 2, important but not urgent. This is the time you have to schedule, you have to protect, you have to defend at all costs. And to actually stay in that quadrant, here are a few simple habits. The Pomodoro technique gives you 25-minute sprints, which create these little mini wins that your brain loves. The 15-minute rule is perfect for just starting, because anyone can commit to just 15 minutes. And finally, you have to externalize accountability. Tell people your deadline, your influence side will not want to fail publicly, or even better, partner with a detail-oriented C-style personality. They're the perfect counterbalance to your high-flying DI energy. So let's put it all together. Here is your finisher's roadmap, nice and simple. 1. Implement that idea doc for all new ideas, maybe for 7 days. 2. Audit your project graveyard with the Moscow method and be ruthless. 3. For every project you keep, define the MVP. And 4. Protect your quadrant 2 time like your life depends on it, because honestly, your success kinda does. Look, this isn't about changing who you are. It's about building a system that lets your brilliant, creative, results-driven self actually see things through to the very end. So now that you have the playbook, there's really only one question left. What brilliant idea are you finally gonna finish?